Hey everyone, welcome to another Good e-Reader comparison video with your hosts,
Peter
and Michael. We have here the Amazon Kindle Voyage and the Kindle Paperwhite 3.
These are the two latest devices from Amazon.com. This is available in the USA only. It is $199 USD. This is available in US and Canada. This one is $139 USD.
Show us what these two devices are all about.
Looking at these, they look not similar. Most e-readers look very similar to each other. This one has a lot more design features. This is the Kindle Voyage. You see you have two lines on either, you have a line on either side. This is a page turn button for turning pages and navigating through menus. This is the back button up top. Everything is vibration sensitive, meaning that if you touch it, it will vibrate to let you know you've pressed that button. We also have an ambient light sensor at the top left corner, and you'll notice the screen and bezel are flush, which means they're not indented a millimeter like this one. Looking on the back, the features continue. We have a piano black topping here, which leaves lots of fingerprints. Then we have a magnesium infused metallic plastic on the back with embossed Amazon piano finish logo.
It looks boss.
Yes, and we have a flush power button. You can see right there, like the Amazon HDX tablets. It's also getting design features from the HDX tablets with these geometric kind of cuts and shapes on the back. The Amazon Kindle Paperwhite is very plain. Looks plain on the front, plain on the back, nothing on any of the sides. Everything happens at the bottom, the micro USB port, and the power button with a status indicator light. And just like that, the micro USB port is on the bottom as well.
So these two e-readers have similar UI. You'll
Pretty
notice
close.
that it is promoting the new Ghost Set of Watchmen by Harper Lee book. This is because this Voyage is the special offers edition.
Yeah.
So the $199 is for an ad-enabled device.
You also get this setting right here, view special offers, whereas on a non-special offers device, you will see no such menu.
Right. So you'll also see advertisements if this goes into sleep mode, and
Yes.
a screensaver will be hyping Amazon products. Incidentally, you can remove the ads for about $30, and we'll film an upcoming tutorial on how to do that. So you look at the Kindle, and it's fairly similar in terms of being able to navigate to different books on your devices.
Ever since the Kindle Touch, they've kind of kept it consistent with this thumbnail book layout, and they've gotten away from the whole list of everything, although you can still change it to list view if you want. Oh, sorry, missed it. Which is very evident of the old Kindle keyboards and Kindle DXs.
Yeah, it's almost like an old school interface. All right, so you have cloud and device. These are the books that are in the cloud.
Yep.
They're not necessarily on your device. These are maybe ebooks that you've purchased using the Kindle e-reading app for Android or iOS, and you could simply sync them to your device when you want. On the top navigation bar, you notice the settings are identical: home, back, to implement the front light, shopping button, search, Goodreads, which is the social media book discovery network that Amazon purchased a few years ago now. You can basically follow specific authors, books. You can join a book club. You can talk about what book you're reading at the time. So we have the font jacked up to the max right now, just to be able to show you, is there any difference in terms of the text being darker or lighter? Does the text look better on each one? They are using the same screen.
Exact same screen.
From my perspective, this almost pops out a little bit more.
It does.
Primarily because there's no separation between like the screen and your eyes.
Yeah.
Whereas
so
here
this is
you're
almost like at the surface.
here you're looking down at it,
like
because it has
about
that
2 millimeters deep into the device.
Yeah, so I figure that this pops out a little bit more, and I dig that because it's similar to reading on like your tablet or smartphone.
I'd say so. However, the Paperwhite 3 was designed with a very interesting feature preloaded onto it. If you look at the font selection, you'll notice that this one has a different font, doesn't it, Michael?
Yeah, Bookerly.
Yeah,
it's a font that Amazon developed exclusively for their e-readers.
So now you can see how this is almost like a bold header, and everything has just been smoothed over and just it's basically it's optimizing it for any sort of margins, you can tell that more words actually fit on the screen than this too.
Yeah, you can see
optimized each line.
Like welcome the, there's less of a pronounced space after the welcomed.
Yeah.
Here you notice that there's a huge space.
And they're like engine with and where they have like the, because they fit it in properly.
Okay.
Now from here they look pretty similar.
It's true.
Yeah.
I figure that one of the advantage that the Voyage has is being able to just like flip pages with like one hand.
Exactly. And you can go forward and back because this one acts as a back button as well. So with one hand on the train or commuting, you can go like that really easily.
I know a lot of people that read with one hand, whether you're juggling a baby or whether you're
juggling a baby.
You know, I mean, you have a baby and you're
in my mind.
It's with one hand and you're reading in the other, or you know, while you're eating, you could be drinking a cup of coffee and be holding the e-reader in like one hand.
Driving your car.
Well, I don't know anybody that reads an e-reader while driving a car.
That would be very difficult.
I know people listen to audiobooks in a car.
No, that's totally viable, if we press and hold, we get various options, add note, highlight. We're going to look at add note just to see if the keyboard's any different. I've noticed that whenever we put these two side by side, or the Voyage against any other Kindle device, the shadows underneath all the keys are a lot more pronounced, but once again, that's because the screen on basically any screen you're seeing is so far to the surface that it looks more crisp. So typing is the exact same on both devices in terms of speed and responsiveness. I just missed the button there. If you press and hold and box a specific amount of area, you can go to translation, and you can translate any English to any language to any language you see on this drop-down list. So any book has no barriers now. So we got Finnish, Chinese, instantly translated. Amazon handles PDFs very well since the Paperwhite 2. The Paperwhite 2 had a lot of problems with RAM issues and memory issues. It would just crash if it had to load for too long, or if it felt that the file was too big, it would just crash. So they've really corrected things, and now it works rather well. So you can see that if you pinch and zoom on both devices, you get a mini map on the top left corner as to where you are on the page, which is really good because you can get your bearings correct and not say, oh, where's the guy's claw? Because it's right here. We're going to zoom in on this monster's claw. And why we use the D&D Monsters Manual is because it has an even mix of text, grays, headers, and of course images. So because these are using the exact same screen and hardware on the inside, they look pretty much exactly the same. But as you saw in our reading comparison in the previous part, this has a screen that's flush with the screen and bezel, so it's a lot closer. You can do a couple things like change the overall contrast.
What are those?
Is he wearing J's?
No, he's wearing some sort of demonic like claw or hoof. I'm not even sure. That's why I asked him, what are those?
So we can adjust you can really tell the contrast difference now because we made this one super dark and this one super light. Another great thing about Amazon Kindle devices and PDFs is the ability to press and hold and get all of the same features you get in an ebook but in a PDF. So this really breaks down the barriers. Like if you're reading like a Korean car magazine, you can translate any language to any language you see on this list, and it no longer has any boundaries with language barriers. So that's really cool with PDF. So with manga, it's very similar to the PDF experience in that you have to pinch and zoom if a panel is too small. So for example, if you really want to get in on this action, you see Goku dodging a attack from a monster, you can go ahead and pinch and zoom. You don't have the ability to long press anything because it doesn't register any text like it does in a PDF. So
you can see the page turns are so much faster than the PDF of the Monsters Manual that we were looking at.
Even though Amazon did do a little bit of refining when it came to the PDF experience, it does still lag when there's a very big file. If the file is 100 MB or 100 megabytes or bigger, it just has trouble managing it.
Yeah, it really struggles. But with a manga, you know, they're traditionally like 50 pages or less.
It's less complex. It works a lot better. It's a much better experience.
Yeah. So even with side-loaded content like this manga is, it still works with the page turn buttons. So that has the advantage. I know some e-readers, especially European e-readers, that their side-loaded content is not compatible with a lot of their hardware buttons.
Yeah, some will have buttons down here, some will have buttons on the side, and they just plain don't work unless you're using the proprietary stuff.
So whether you're reading westernized manga where you turn pages like a normal ebook, or you're turning pages like this, I find that both of these devices handle manga very well. Again, I think that the Voyage, just because of the page turn buttons, is a little bit more intuitive to use.
I think that is cool. Yeah. Now, Mike, I am not blind. These guys are using the same screens, same hardware. All that's different is really the shells. The Kindle Voyage looks a little bit brighter and whiter.
It does. I think if you look at, I mean, we're looking at them side by side.
And they're both maxed out. They're both maximum brightness. They're side by side. And it just looks different.
Yeah, it does. I would say that it's more white, if that's proper.
No, I'd say so. It's more white.
It's really looking at my max brightness side by side, this is noticeably brighter on max settings. Now, how does that compare to if we turn it down to the standard reading level, 75% and things like that?
Let's put them both at number 16. It looks a little bit more similar.
I would say the Voyage,
more similar.
It does have a whiter screen.
It has cooler lights. I swear they are using different LEDs. They didn't have to make this. They went to the back room and looked at the spare parts bin. This is using the same shell and plastics and backing.
And internals.
As
the Paperwhite 2.
As the Paperwhite 2. And they said, well, how are we going to make it better? I don't know. We got some extra Voyage screens. Chuck it in the Paperwhite 2 shell. Let's change the back to an Amazon logo with gray instead of piano black, and boom, the Kindle Paperwhite 3 is born.
Yeah, so I feel like this was only made to combat the Kobo Glow HD.
Yeah.
So I would probably say that for your bang for your buck, this is the most innovative e-reader ever made from Amazon. I figure that ambient light sensor.
It's got things only cell phones have.
Right.
Vibrators in each side.
Totally.
No e-reader has that.
I find that the front light display on it is better.
Yep.
Overall, if you're looking for an Amazon e-reader, or if you have an older model and you're thinking about upgrading to the latest and greatest, I would probably spend extra money and get the Voyage 3G model.
Right.
It'll be like $230, $240.
Yeah.
But this e-reader is pretty well future-proof. It'll last you a good 4 years, 5 years before you ever have to think about upgrading. So that's our thoughts. Let's hear yours. Weigh in the comment section below. If you think we're totally off base saying the Voyage is the better of the two e-readers here, let us know your reasoning on why you disagree with us. And for a good e-reader and a comparison of the Amazon Kindle Voyage and the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite 3, my name is Michael.
My name is Peter.
Everybody take care.